Hello and good evening. JC here from We Are the Arsenal. I hope everyone is well. Today I bring you a brand new series on the channel. It won't be coming to you every day, maybe 2 or 3 times a week, depending on what type of news Arsenal has available during that particular week. I hope everyone's doing very well. Do hit the like button and subscribe if you're new around here. And we're going to jump straight into things with some of the latest Arsenal news, starting with Eddie Nketiah, a player that only now has 6 months remaining on his contract. So he is free to negotiate a pre-contract with teams abroad, and it is said that there are many teams from the likes of France or Germany that are trying to negotiate a contract now. However, Crystal Palace do seem to be the front runners, Arsenal trying to get a small fee for them, but at the moment it does seem as though his high wage demands are a bit of a problem for Palace, but they're not the only team in the Premier League who are interested in the player. Up next we have Balogun, a player that has been linked with a move away from the club for quite some time now. Only on loan, obviously a hot prospect and held in high regard at Arsenal Football Club. He heads off to Middlesbrough in the Championship for 6 months. It's said that they will cover around about 15% of his wages as well. It's needed for his development. You know, there were rumours that he wanted to leave the club just before signing that new contract for first team football. After playing against Brentford at the start of the season, the lack of minutes in the tank really did show. So I think a move to the Championship side, Middlesbrough, will do him the world of good. So he'll be there for at least the next 6 months, and you never know. He might come back, fight for a place at the start of next season, or he might be sent out on loan again just to get a few more minutes in the tank. Next story surrounding another Arsenal player is Sead Kolasinac, who is being linked with a move away from the club to Marseille, a club that Arsenal have very, very good relations with. However, it won't be for a fee. Although he only has 6 months left on his contract, Arsenal are said to be looking into terminating his contract as soon as possible, allowing him to move, well, pretty much wherever he wants. Unfortunately, it's only Marseille for his sake. Next up on the list is Granit Xhaka. He certainly splits the fan base, and that's putting it politely, to say the very least. Jose Mourinho is said to still be very much an admirer of the player, and just because he didn't move in the summer gone doesn't mean he won't look to move for him again in the summer. They were very, very cheeky with the transfer bid that they put him, and now he's tied down to an even longer term contract as well. We do know that Roma are pretty stingy when it comes to paying for players. One of the reasons why Ainsley Maitland-Niles only went out there on loan just last week, or this week even, should I say. So it's yet to be seen. Also, Arsenal very, very short of numbers in midfield at the moment. So if Granit Xhaka were to leave alongside El Neni, who's also out of contract in the summer, Arsenal probably already need 2 midfield players as it stands. With Granit Xhaka potentially leaving, does that mean there's probably a third one on its way in the summer as well? We'll have to wait and see. Arsenal never have a boring transfer window. Speaking of midfield players, there are 3 currently on Arsenal's radar as things stand. Bruno Guimaraes is a player that Edu highly admires and would love to bring into the club. It will cost Arsenal around about £38 million. However, he is part of the integral player group at Lyon, and a deal in the summer is said to be more likely. Similarly to Danilo of Palmeiras in Brazil, they want him to basically play a part in the Brazilian version, or the South American version, of the Champions League, and they see him as a vital member of the squad. Arsenal are said to be wanting to put in a bid of around about €20 million plus €5 million in bonuses. Again, a move likely in the summer, which brings us on to the third name on screen. One most of you will be familiar with. Gini Wijnaldum. He wants a move back to the Premier League. Apparently, he's not getting the minutes at PSG. And Sky Sports earlier this evening even said that he'd want that move back to the Premier League and grew up as an Arsenal supporter. Take it with a pinch of salt because it does come from Sky Sports News. Moving into our next report, a number of sports outlets out in Turkey today were reporting that Galatasaray are very much interested in Bernd Leno. Not sure how much you'd want to read into this one. Yes, I believe Bernd Leno will be available in the summer. He'll probably be moved on with only a year left on his contract, having fallen down the pecking order as number 2 to Aaron Ramsdale, who is having a phenomenal season. It does mean Arsenal will need to buy another goalkeeper in the summer, which is just continuing to add to our ever-growing shopping list. But I think it's more likely that Bernd Leno will probably move back to Germany. One to keep an eye on, good competition for players, potentially drives that price up as well. Moving away from transfers for just a moment, as you can see on screen right now, we've got Chris Kavanagh. He has been appointed the referee for the North London Derby. A huge game at a really, really big point of the season for both Arsenal and Spurs. Read into it what you will. Is it a good thing? Is it a bad thing? Well, we'll have to wait and see what the scoreline is at 90 minutes come the weekend. One last story before we head into our headline story of today's live show, and that is yesterday Liverpool were apparently going to be investigated by the EFL for their shenanigans in the build-up to the first leg, which has been postponed for the Carabao Cup. Since then, a number of newspapers in the UK have said that they will not be investigated, although it does leave a number of Premier League clubs very unhappy because it does seem as though they've played the system and it feels like Liverpool have got away with it yet again. So we'll see what happens moving forward if any other clubs are treated in the same manner. Now we're about to move into our headline story of today's live show. I do appreciate every one of you coming along and showing your support for the channel and today's video. Drop a like and subscribe if you're new around here, and drop any questions in the chat as well, which we'll go through in the last 5 minutes of today's live show. Taking us into the final headline story of today's show, and that is one that surrounds the forward position of Arsenal Football Club. Vlahovic is a player that Arsenal are really pressing to try and sign at the moment. Fiorentina happy to do business at around about £60 million. Unfortunately, it seems though the agent is causing a few problems. One rumour I did hear today was around his close friends. He's said to have preferred a move in the Italian league, sticking with someone like Inter Milan or Juventus. However, they're not willing to pay the money. Inter Milan was struck financially with problems in the summer, hence why a number of their players left. Arsenal seem to be leading the pack. If Vlahovic doesn't want to move, it will allow him to pick freely in the summer if a deal cannot be struck. Which leads us on to the other 3 players on the screen. Isaac, Dominic Calvert-Lewin and Jonathan David are the backup options if Vlahovic does not come to Arsenal in January. Not too much news on Isaac or Dominic Calvert-Lewin, but apparently Edu did speak with Jonathan David's agents at the back end of December. So if that is true, it might mean that he is the front runner of the remaining 3 players should Arsenal not get Vlahovic. So that does bring all of today's news to a close. I hope you have enjoyed, and there does seem to be quite a few of you in the chat. We've got John, thank you very much for coming along and showing your support today. Will Burnley go for Eddie after selling Chris Wood? Yes, actually, funnily enough, Burnley are one of a number of clubs that are still interested in Eddie Nketiah alongside Norwich and Brighton. So certainly one to keep an eye on. I think it's going to come down to who coughs up most money, not only to the player but to Arsenal as well. Thank you very much, Neil, for coming along, and Keith. Really, really do appreciate your support. Likewise with Judge. Always really appreciate you guys coming along and showing the support to the channel. Buy Xhaka and get Kolasinac for free. It wouldn't be a bad deal. We both, I think most people probably want both players out of the club. Some of the last bad eggs at the club, to say the very least. Burnley might go for Edit. Yeah, absolutely. Yep, Leno will definitely go. Yeah, it's one of those. He's been he's been a great professional since being displaced. He's been absolutely phenomenal. But I think it was before we'd even bought Leno, there were rumours that Leno might be going if we didn't get Champions League football this season. And now that Leno's come in and displaced him, seems set in stone at this point. We'll miss Leno. Yeah, he's a great number 2, obviously, to have two top goalkeepers at the club. It creates better competition, drives better performances, and it just means we've got to go shopping for another goalkeeper now in the summer, which is a pain in the backside because it shouldn't be one of our players that we should be looking at when we need central midfield players, backup right back, more strikers. Who knows? Would yes, he's annoying quite a few different people at the moment, Klopp. I'm sure it won't be the last time either. And then Judge, well, very much laughing at what Keith has just said. So as I said at the very start of the live show, what I'll be looking to do is bring you probably maybe 2 or 3 at a push, these live shows each and every week. Just, basically giving you guys all of the up-to-date information around transfer rumours. When I say transfer rumours, I'm not talking about every single transfer rumour. I'm talking about the more reliable sources and any sort of club news as well. So if you did enjoy today's video, please do let me know in the comments. Drop a like and subscribe if you're new around here. And I will be back with you guys probably Friday evening with a review of the Liverpool game. But for now, I'm JC and I'll catch you on Friday.